Hello and welcome back to Traffic Talks. I am once again very happy with my consistency for uploading this week, even though my Instagram has not been that great, but I'll get back to that at the end of the episode. For now, we're going to start at the beginning because this episode has been a long time coming in terms of just this week. I'm honestly feeling exhausted. I originally thought I had about 2 to 3 podcasts that I was working on and writing the scripts for. It turns out I have between 5 and 6, and I'm still working on a separate series of podcasts that I want to do for the month of October, all around one theme. I am essentially done with this month's podcasts. I've got a series that I want to do for October, and the first week in November is also sorted. So in terms of podcasts, I'm just editing scripts and doing a bit more research so that I can be accurate in what I want to say, because it's going to be not heavy, but there's a particular theme and research that I need to do around it. So I want to be precise and not just spill crazy things. So that is why I'm like that far ahead, which is nice. I just haven't recorded them, and I want to get that kind of perfect because that's just how I am. But in terms of the scripts, I've got quite a few going, so I'm prepping and batching and just trying to get that done. But that is not why I'm exhausted. And I just thought this is actually a good idea for this week because we are coming close to the end of the year. It's literally halfway through September, and that is crazy. We are already deeply in it, and you don't even realize how fast time is flying by, because it's just like the beginning of the year we were celebrating, and then everything came crashing down with the lockdown, and now we're suddenly almost at the end of the year. And a lot of people want to use this as a jump off point for next year, but I think we need to just start living more in the moment, because those precious moments are so much harder to find. Going off on a tangent, I'm gonna pull it back to where we need to be, and that's probably just the exhaustion speaking, which is what I'm gonna get into. So starting exactly there, exhausted. That is the word I'm using. I'm not using tired. I'm not using sleepy. I am exhausted. Okay? Tired is when you've maybe gone too hard at the gym and you need some rest. Tired is when you didn't get enough sleep and you need a nap. Tired is when you've worked too hard and just a good cup of coffee and kicking your feet up would do the trick. Maybe a cup of tea, whatever boost of your choice that gets you up and running. That is what tired is. Watching a TV show, doing something that'll give you a boost. Up to you, your choice. That'll fix your tired. This is exhaustion. This is completely run down, no more battery life, drained. That is how I feel. So this week has been exhausting, and mainly because it's been a roller coaster of a week, and the worst part is I didn't recognize it. So this week has slowly been draining me, and I didn't see the warning signs, and I felt it, but I just powered on through, which was a huge mistake, by the way. That is what I'm speaking about today, being drained and not realizing it, because it happens to all of us. Hopefully by the end you'll realize what is actually draining you, learning to recognize it, and maybe just finding a way to change it. The first thing that I needed to do was actually look back at this past week, note all the things that actually happened, and then check in on whether it has boosted me and energized me and made me feel good, or it has drained me and left me feeling bad. The best thing to do is kind of either like journal it out, and if you aren't that kind of a person, even just writing it down in a list form, whether it's on an online platform or physically writing it out, whatever makes you feel better. Write it down. So write everything that happened, good or bad, and then next to it, write whether it energized you or drained you. Write how long the duration of this particular event or thing was. For me, it's been a roller coaster of a week. It started off great with my mother's birthday being on Monday. On Monday, it was high vibes, high energy that carried in onto Tuesday and started fading by Wednesday. By Wednesday, I got a huge workload in, and that was just draining because there was a lot of stress in the middle of the week. I still had to finish out the week, and after having 2 good days, it's the last thing you want. And Wednesday is usually hump day, so things usually just take like a plummet. Instead, it actually like raised my stress and everything about it as well. And that's just what happened. Once you've recognized these events and how they made you feel and how long they took, you need to decide which ones are in your control and which ones are out of your control. So Monday, I took my mom to get her hair done on her birthday, and that took me my lunch hour, which is essentially an hour. Took a bit longer than that, but it wasn't by much, so that's fine. That event took me 1 hour. It boosted me. We came home. We still rode those vibes through to the next day. During my lunch hour, we were having cake, we were having snacks. It was all good. And once again, it only took that hour. So work is literally my 8 till 5, and then I have my lunch hour. However, I generally get stressed at the end of the day when I see how much work I didn't get done and that rolls over into the next day. And that usually still leaves me feeling stressed even after I finished my work. So whereas the good vibes last for an hour during my lunch and maybe a little bit afterwards, the work stress lasts much longer into my early evening, sometimes even late evening. And that is terrible because that's hours worth of stress that's draining me, and it's out of my control because I can't do anything about it. There's only so many work hours in a day. One thing I have added is doing yoga each night. So it usually takes me 20 to 30 minutes tops, and it's something I can control because I choose to do it. The work stress, I have no choice in that. That just happens and is beyond my control. But once I did start doing my yoga, it gave me a lot of mental clarity, especially in terms of my work is done for the day, I'm doing my yoga for the day, I'm not going to focus on anything else. Once I shut down that stress, I could easily calm down after that and focus on my yoga and then ease into the rest of my night. Once you've seen all these events, determined whether they're good or bad, seen how long they last, you can find these little things like adding something like yoga to enhance your day and decrease whatever negative things there are, even if they are a little bit beyond your control. You can kind of take that power back by adding something that you enjoy. It could be anything from reading a book, doing a hobby, or even just vegging out in front of the TV. Entirely up to you. But once you can see the bad, you can try and make it more good, if that makes sense. So this is all done by adjusting the way you do your usual routine, because that's essentially what it all is, your routines and your habits. Once you found your things that energize you, whether it's something as simple as having a nice breakfast, a decent cup of coffee, or just sitting outside, whatever it is, you can find a way to add more to that event, add a completely new event, or try and reduce or cancel the things that drain you. For me, with the yoga, I started incorporating journaling before my sessions. That gave me a better outlet to express all my stress and feelings that I had built up over the day and get it out before my yoga session, which required a lot of mental stability and not having baggage, if I could put it that way, into the session. And it actually made my sleep even better when it did come to that part of my night. The work stress, I could honestly try focusing a bit more. My mind has started wandering. But one thing I also realized that my brother actually pointed out is that I try and help clients even if there's nothing more I can do for them. Maybe there's an issue that I can't assist them with, or just general issues that I can't do anything about. Yet I will still try and be like, okay, you know what, maybe you can do this. Or, you know, we don't offer that service, but maybe if you looked here or there. And my brother was just like, if you can't do anything about it, say you can't and move on. Now you're still talking and trying to help the people. And I'm like, it's just who I am. And he's like, well, that's not what you get paid to do. And I'm just like, I see what you mean. And he's a very logical person, and I actually appreciate that a lot, because especially being the person that I am, and a lot of people in this world are this way, they don't see their own faults and it's not truly a fault, but they sometimes don't see the habits they continuously do. Other people will be like, you keep doing that same thing over, and you are just like, no, I don't. It was nice to have that shown to me, and I honestly appreciate it, because now I can just be like, I'm wasting 7 minutes on a phone call when I could have cut the person off at 3 and be like, we don't do that, sorry, have a good day. But no, that is something to just once again take note of. Sometimes we have habits, and asking people what kind of habits they see you doing and get feedback that way, because you may not even realize, like I said, that you do these things, and they can be like, but you do this all the time. And they can point it out to you, and you can finally like internalize it and be like, maybe I do that and I need to change it. Or maybe I do that and I want to enhance it. So that's what you're going to have to figure out. And once you've done that, all you have to do is rinse and repeat. That is essentially how life works. It's a series of rinsing and repeating the same thing over and over and making small adjustments. Because we change the things we don't like, and we keep the things we do. And then when we finally think we're happy, life throws us oranges when we were expecting lemons. Like, that is exactly what happened. They say, life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So you have your lemons, your sugar, your bowl, your water, and suddenly, oranges. And you're like, this was not what I was expecting. I was finally happy with these sour, stupid lemons, and now you bring me oranges. What am I going to do with these oranges? Anyway, that is it for this week's podcast. It's a bit all over the place. I'm sorry about that. Like I said, it's the exhaustion talking. I was actually so tired. I actually took a nap on Sunday, and you're hearing this on Monday. So I'm referring back to yesterday when I slept for 3 solid hours in the middle of the day. I woke up thinking I was in another world. Also, I'm slightly sick, so I apologize for my voice that was all over the place in this podcast, because like I said, I'm exhausted. When I don't sleep, you guys know, my immunity drops and I am useless to the world. I've taken medication, so hopefully I will be better. Once again, thank you for joining me. If I haven't said it already, please check out my Instagram. I will leave a link in the details box down below. Essentially, 3 times a week is when I will post. Tuesday is going to be a very simple reminder about this very podcast going live. Thursday is probably going to be a picture of my coffee or my food, depending on what's going on. And Saturday, probably a pic from my garden, because that's something I have gotten back into, which is hectically contributing to my exhaustion. Just saying. The flowers are bomb though, so not gonna complain. Once I eventually decide to venture further than my own front yard, I will be uploading much better pictures. But for now, that's as far as it's gonna get. I do know, like I said in the beginning of this podcast, I was very bad at the posts for Instagram this week. That's because I had planned posts that didn't auto-upload when it was supposed to, and it was just a disaster. So I now have to do this whole thing manually, but I'm gonna do it. So I'm a slay this week. I will get there. So, like this podcast, it's a work in progress and constantly improving, slowly but surely. We've come a long way, and we still have another long way to go. But if you're going to work for it, it's going to be worth it. It sounds like a Missy Elliott song. But that, however, is not the song of this week. The song of this week is Work, and then that colorful word that we all love and know, by Brittney Spears. So you can listen to the explicit version if that's your thing, or the clean version, but Work by Brittney Spears is this week's song, because that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna get to work. Okay? On that note, I hope you enjoy your work. I hope you have a good week ahead, and that you go forth and slay the day. Okay? Love you. Bye.